Hello book lovers and besties, and welcome to my channel. That is so exciting to say. I've been wanting to make a bookish YouTube channel for the longest time, but planning, filming and editing is a little bit harder than it seems. But we are getting there, and I've just decided that we're just going to film it and see how it goes. Now today I'm going to be recommending you my top 5 romantasies of the year, / one of them might be less of a romantasy, but it's a hear me out for all of you romantasy girlies. This is going to be spoiler free because I actually want you to read these and I don't want you to know too much about what you're going into. I'll tell you the tropes, I'll tell you a little synopsis, maybe my favorite parts and what you can look forward to. First up on the agenda today we have Quicksilver by Callie Hart. Now I do have my laptop here just so I can read out and I don't leave out anything I want to say, because sometimes when I turn this camera on my brain stops working. It'll come with time. It'll come with time. The tropes in this book are a unique magic system. Specifically, there's a lot of alchemy going on. Fae, of course, forced proximity, hidden powers, enemies to lovers, banter. And when I say banter, I know banter's not a trope, but I felt like I had to include it in this path so I could tell you. The banter is next level. One of my favorite books for banter, if that's what you're after. Not just the male main characters together, but the banter that the outer secondary characters have, not even with the main characters, but with each other, is next level. Carrie Swift is hilarious, and you'll know what I mean if you read the book. And it's also just a book with a lot of war and politics if you like that kind of thing. Now let me tell you a little bit about the story and what you're in for. It is a dark romantasy book, and it follows our human female main character whose name I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce, so I'll place it right here. I will butcher it. She lives in a desert city / kingdom ruled by a very not so nice queen. Because it's a desert, it's really hard to survive there. Water's really sparse. This is like what I was kind of imagining at the beginning of this book. It really isn't my vibe. I was feeling Aladdin. I'm not an Aladdin fan, but it's okay because this book gets better and better. The area that she lives in is in a very poor area, and she steals to survive. One day, she takes it a little bit too far and steals from a guard, and then is caught by the guards of the queen. A lot of crazy stuff goes down that I can't tell you because it will spoil it and I want you to experience it yourself. But she ends up awakening this Quicksilver pool, and when I tell you, after that, I was sold. As soon as she went to that Quicksilver pool, it was like I was in a different book, and technically you are, because she's just gone into a Fae realm. As I said, if you're reading the first 50 to 100 pages and you're kind of like, this isn't what I signed up for, I'm telling you, as soon as she goes into their completely different book, Fae Realm, obsessed. Over there, a bunch more stuff happens that I can't tell you, but there's a lot of found family stuff. We meet Kingfisher, a morally grey main character, and it's a whole vibe. It is a mammoth of a book, I think 600 and something pages, and it takes a bit to get into, but once you are in there, you don't want to get out. I'm yet to read Brimstone, the second book, only because it is even bigger and I am scared of what's going to happen, but I'm sure that when I read it, I will enjoy it, although I cannot say that with 100% certainty, but I think I will enjoy it. Okay, book 2, and maybe my favorite book of the entire year, Vow of Eternal Night. I have not found anything like this since I've read it. I don't even want to find anything like it because it was amazing. I am utterly obsessed. Also, quick little side note, this is what I'm eating while I film. We've got light Chobani yogurt, green Granny Smith apples that were in the fridge, and honey. Nothing better. It's so good. Anyway, back to the recommendations. The tropes in this book. We have vampire romance, clearly. It is forced proximity, enemies to lovers. There's a curse. Beauty and the Beast kind of vibes, if you know what I mean. Slow burn, morally grey characters. This book had me absolutely raging at certain points. Like, I'm talking, I was sitting there and betrayal was happening and I was like, what? There's videos of me because I was filming it. Like, if I have them, I will insert them here, but I was not happy. I was not happy. Now, obviously, as I said, this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Our female main character, Clara, I can actually say this name, has grown up in a town called Rustenburg, which is ruled by our vampire king. Everyone else in the town and city fears this man. Like, I'm talking like terrified of this guy. Clara, on the other hand, hates him, despises him, literally says something along the lines of like, he is a monster. And then, of course, the monster that he is, he forces her into a betrothal. And he says, break the curse in a year or be my bride for eternity. She's trying to break that curse. I tell you. And one thing that I genuinely loved about this book was like the male main character actually had some moments of like vulnerability. I read a lot of romantasies, and I feel like in most of the romantasies, the male main character is always like, like I don't know how to describe it, but they're all tough and not in touch with their emotions. This man, the vulnerability that he showed her was absolutely beautiful, and it was one of my favorite aspects of the book. Their emotional connection, chef's kiss, and that's why it is one of my top ones. I don't want to say just yet, but I think it will be my favorite read for the year. Book 3. Why am I holding it like this? We have Riftborn. And oh my gosh. I actually have something funny to tell you about this. When I first started reading this book, 100 pages in, I put it down and didn't pick it up for weeks. It was almost a DNF for me, not because of the book, but like life got in the way and there wasn't too much crazy stuff happening, and I just didn't pick it up. And then I thought, you know what, I'll pick it up. And I am so glad that I did. The tropes in this book we have. People say enemies to lovers. I'm gonna say a kind of enemies to lovers. I don't think it's the most enemies to lovers kind of book out there. I think you can get a lot more on the enemies train. But if you like a gentle enemies to lovers, this one. There is slow burn with tension. He trains her, forced proximity kind of vibes. Military training academy. I love a little academy. It can be a school, it can be military. Love it all. There's rebellion, there's politics. And she is a powerful female main character. She is powerful. Now, our female main character's name is Fia Riftborn. She lives on the Isle of insert name I can't pronounce here. After her parents were killed in the rebellion and uprising, they branded all the children of those parents at Riftborn. They all got a mark. Crazy stuff. Moved to this place. She has spent most of her life trying to remain unnoticed, not really being social. She just kind of stays at home, goes to work, goes home. She has like one friend. She has some pretty unstable powers that she doesn't kind of want to let anyone know because they're really dangerous and unstable. However, one day she accidentally shows her powers and kind of exposes herself in front of the head of the guard, General Larrick Ashford. He sees something happen and he forces her to join the guard. Enter forced proximity. And that's all I'm going to say, because you have to read the rest to find out. That's what I got up to before I stopped the book, and it only gets better afterwards. Now, my next recommendation is book 2, because I loved book 1, but book 2 is even better. I gave it a 5-star. I can't tell you the tropes, and I can't tell you the synopsis, because you have to read book 1, and it will spoil book 1 for you if I tell you about book 2. So read book 1, then read book 2. It's even better than book 1. So there's more magical creatures, there's more found family, and some romance. Read the book. Okay, technically this is our book 4 because that was a series, so I'm going to say that this is book 4. This is Defy the Night. This was one of the early reads that I had. The tropes in this book are enemies to lovers, slow burn, rebellion. There actually isn't too much spice in this book compared to the other ones that I have recommended, so if you're looking for something a little, less, then this is the book for you. There's a lot of class-related stuff and there's secret identities. Our female main character, Tessa, is an apothecary apprentice living in the remote wilds of another name I can't pronounce. Everyone needs to give me I need to look up one of those charts to help me with this, but I'll get there. Fantasy language is hard. Anyway, there's this mysterious illness going around the kingdom, and there is a medicine for it, but it is super expensive and only like the wealthy top tier people get it. So Tessa starts breaking these royal laws to help people who can't access the medicine. On the flip side, we have our prince, and he is responsible for enforcing the crown's laws. He has a terrifying reputation, and their worlds collide. That's all I can tell you. It is a really nice, shorter read compared to all the other romantasies I have recommended. The size of this book is like this compared to like these ones. So if you are wanting to try a romantasy, I would highly recommend this one. Now, book 6, technically book 5, because of the series, is Silver Elite. This is another like top 3 read of the year for me. I love it so much. I want more people to read it. It was spectacular, and it literally had me crying 50 pages in. I felt such an emotional connection to the characters already that 50 pages in, I was getting emotional. Now, the reason it's a hear me out is because technically this book is a dystopian romance. It is not a romantasy, but it has the vibes of a romantasy, and there is power-related stuff. They have psychic abilities. So I think if you're a romantasy lover who's wanting like a little bit of a gateway into dystopian romance, this might be a book for you to start on. He trains her. It's enemies to lovers. There's military training, hidden powers, rebellion, forced proximity, and she is a powerful female main character. Wren Darlington, our female main character, she lives in this dystopian society. It is divided into primes and modified/mods. they are controlled by the primes. The primes rule, and they do not want the mods/modifieds to exist because they have these psychic abilities. Now, it's easy to spot a modified because their veins glow when they use their psychic abilities. So oftentimes they won't use them in front of primes because they're trying to stay hidden, or they will wear long sleeves and whatnot to cover up. Ren Darlington is a little bit different from everyone else because she is a modified, except her veins don't glow. So she has spent her whole life hiding, but it is a little bit easier for her because obviously she has this special ability that no one else possesses. However, like a lot of our female main characters, she finds herself in a situation where she is surrounded by primes and eventually has to enter and be inside the enemy's elite military training programs surrounded by nothing but primes. She meets Cross Reedon, her commanding officer, who won't let her leave. It's her life now, and that's all I can tell you. You have to read it. It is an amazing book if you're wanting to get into dystopian romance. I promise you, if you love like that academy vibe that they had in like Fourth Wing, it's different than Fourth Wing, but if you like the academy aspect, I think you'll like this. So those are all of my recommendations that I have for my favorite romantasy reads / dystopian for the year. But yeah, thank you for being here. This is obviously my first video and I know it isn't perfect and I have a lot to improve on and a lot more to read because I only have so many recommendations at the moment, but that will come with time and I am very grateful if you stayed to this point in the video. Really happy that you are here. If you do read one of these books, I hope you enjoy it, or if you have read it and you liked it or you didn't like it, let me know in the comments because I love discussing books even if you didn't enjoy them or you did enjoy them. I hope you have an amazing day and that you can read your next 5-star read soon. Thank you for watching and happy reading.